All right, I've got 6:30. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order with a roll call.
Travis Kramer.
Here.
Scott McCorney.
Here.
Jeremy Hansen.
Here.
Jason's gone. Paul Kraus.
Here. The Open Meetings Act is posted on the wall. Item 4, consent agenda. I don't see anything that I would think we'd need to consider separately unless someone else has a request.
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Let's on that motion.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item 5, approval of minutes from the lot combination hearing, variance hearing, and regular board meeting minutes. Let's do A and then we'll do B.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the May 15th, 2023 combined lot hearing.
Second that.
Need to say all three.
Yeah, the variance hearing and board meeting minutes too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep, the combined lot hearing, variance hearing, and the regular board meeting minutes is not.
that, you still second that motion?
Still second that.
All righty, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the May 15th lot combination variance hearing and regular board meeting minutes. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item B, the June 14th strategic planning meeting, special meeting minutes.
I'll motion to approve the June 14th, 2023 strategic planning special meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the June 14th strategic planning special meeting minutes. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney. Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item 6A. Discussion and possible approval of sites to install pedestal and building signs granted by the Washington County Historical Association. We've got a list here. Kate did some research down at the Senior Center for us,
I spent some time at the senior center.
going over the
So,
survey results.
These are all really great options. The first 7 are in my opinion, the one that had the most stories or most interesting history. But all are great options. Julie with the Historical Association, she had mentioned we could do 1 pedestal sign and then 6 building signs, and it would all be covered by the grant. So if we wanted to start there with just 7, go from there, but all super interesting and just, I don't know, I didn't realize how much history this town has.
So Kate had these listed in order of what her and the people at the Over 60 Center
Yeah.
listed as their order of importance after going over the.
Stories and history and whatever,
The
so.
pet hospital is number 1.
Well, I mean, not necessarily number 1, but just my top 7.
Okay.
But the Penn Hospital just being, it's the only building in town that has stayed exactly what it was built for.
Okay.
It's always been a Penn Hospital, which I thought was interesting because everything else has changed so much.
And this is something we can keep adding to if we don't get the right ones this time, or. It sounds like there could be grant money every year and then we don't even have to match it this year is what it sounded like, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's really just. Seems like if we did a pedestal and it signs, it is all covered under the grant, so. But
Which one would we put the pedestal at?
no, so I was thinking about that and my thoughts were that 1, either we figure that out just once we get
We're
it
gonna
all
have to
put
go,
together and
we're
be
gonna
like,
have
oh,
to
this
ask
makes no
permission
sense.
for all these anyway. They may not all accept
Right.
But.
putting a plaque on their building.
Right, and then but I also talked to the Abbotts and they have a little sign or something, but she said you can't see it from the road. And so I thought maybe a pedestal, the front of her house might be the best option for that one, but I mean,
If she'd be up for them.
yep. So it's not, I mean. I don't know, we'll just have to see, I think, once we get it all put together. What makes most sense.
I'm good with the first 7.
This was after hashing out the survey that was about, these were on the survey list, and this was the
And there's some others.
people that had the greatest interest in this
Yeah.
at the senior center helped her come up with this.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I'm good with this order. So in case somebody says no, just keep
Just
working
keep
down the
going
list.
down the list, yeah.
Maybe that's what we do.
Unless somebody has a preference to move one up or one down, I'm good with that.
My only thing would be moving maybe up the auditorium and the swimming pool that you could combine as well.
And yes, and that was something that I thought of too, was that
We already have.
is one, because, I mean, I don't know, the auditorium has cool history. It was the first schoolhouse, but but like then the park and the swimming pool also, like, I mean, the original like city park was really, it was beautiful. I saw a picture of it and I was like, that was gorgeous, but anyway, that could be combined as one. I don't know.
That would be my only suggestion. Combine those two and move those out.
You want to move those into the first 7, Jeremy?
I think so. We got that space. Let people see what it was down there.
Yeah.
Maybe it drives some interest. But
Who do we take off the top 7 then?
Who's on top? No, they're all good. I don't know. It's difficult.
But I don't know. If the post office being a government building, it.
Oh,
A
true.
little more.
I would think that we could put a pedestal down here that encompassed. a
Well, and
bunch of
that's,
buildings.
and that's something else I
And that
thought
could be
of.
included in that at a later date too.
There was a lot of stuff on Second Street.
Yeah.
That maybe we put it on our property,
Maybe
put it
we
on our
could put-
property.
Yeah,
and hit.
that it's
Yeah,
encompasses a
that's-
lot of, I mean, there was so much stuff on Second Street, so I don't know.
I think the Marshall Nursery building deserves its own plaque, so we don't have to include that in ours, so we
Mhm.
keep that up there, but. So you guys want to knock the post office down? And move the auditorium and park up to the top 7?
Is there a building where the dance hall was? I mean, that's the one here that there's no physical item there, right?
So I'm not for sure if there is still a building there, but I just, they told the story of how it was burned down as a distraction while they robbed the bank. And I thought that was the most interesting thing. I thought it was like kind of a fun bit of history, but, and there were pictures of it like burnt down. Like I saw this and I was like, okay, that's really kind of neat, but I don't know necessarily where to go, but.
Maybe we've already budgeted some for this, maybe if we have to kick in,
Complicated, like our,
maybe if we have to kick in to put a pedestal where
right,
a sign. is-
Would-
yeah. I don't see a problem with that. If the fair board will let us put a pedestal.
all right, yeah, so. I don't know.
You guys want to go with that? Move the post office down and move the auditorium and city park up as a combination?
What's for me?
I would be okay with that.
We'll need a motion in a second.
I will make a motion to move the auditorium and city park up into the top 7 and move the post office down. The list in its place. To move forward with the building signs, then at the top 7 being moving forward for the signs.
So auditorium, pool, where the post office is, and post office down to auditorium and pool.
Yep.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second for approval of sites to install pedestal and building signs granted by the Washington County Historical Association. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. And do we? Dang it. Did we have the amount for the cleaning schedule in the,
No, so he told me he was gonna bring an updated one. So
Yeah,
I
and
didn't.
what, I got a message from him, he can't.
Oh.
We can table this till our next
Yeah.
meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Let's table this until James is here. Item B.
Okay.
7A, Streets Committee Report. We'll get enough streets here in a little bit. I don't think Jason and I had anything new since our last meeting, so. Item B, request to appear by Susan Green for discussion and possible approval of fundraising run walk around Arlington. So what's the date you're planning on doing this?
August 26th.
August 26th. So that's plenty of time to get in the paper. What we do with the summer sizzle, we put an article in the paper. We don't close down those streets for the run walk, but they post volunteers at the busy intersections to help monitor traffic. And unless the board has any other difference, I think that would be sufficient. If you guys are okay with that. So, yeah, let's just make sure it gets to the newspaper in time to publish it so that people know.
Okay.
And then if you guys will have volunteers at the corners, I don't see a problem. It's gonna be probably early in the morning on
Yeah,
a Saturday.
about 8 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah.
So you put that in the paper, it's not something that I need to do.
We can get it to Teresa
Okay,
and make sure that gets to the August 7th,
26.
27th,
26.
26th,
Saturday,
August 26th.
Yep.
And 8 o'clock start.
Yep.
Okay. Should we make an official approval, get a motion, and I think we approve all the summer sizzle stuff.
Yeah, I guess we do. So yeah.
A motion to approve the run walk fundraiser proposed by Susan Green.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Paul Crest.
All right. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, Steve, it's your turn.
All right. Steve Parr with JDO, and with me tonight is Eli Green. He's helping me out with some of the 1 and 6 year plans that we do for other communities. So I'm going to turn it over to Eli and let him run through this last year's plan, and then we'll talk about future stuff. Good stuff.
So we want to talk about our 1 and 6 year plan, just kind of go over what you had last year, make sure we're good with it. Talk about any new projects you may want to add to it. We don't need to come to any permanent decisions tonight. We can always get back to us later. So you have on the map that we provided you, we have the 4 projects in orange that Andrew and Maddie are here to talk about tonight. And then as far as your 6 year goes, you have 4 overlays. We are talking to the county right now to see if there's any cost sharing with that. Then past that, there is your storm sewer project on Bell Street. And then 6 paving projects just throughout the city. Beyond that, we also have your highway allocation money, about $169,000. You have to match that with 25 cents on the dollar. Then you also have your motor vehicle fees at about $12,000. And your Nebraska at $1,000. Beyond that, I know you said we got a mile report in, Steve. So we have that from you. Those are updated for the year. So that's that. We also gave you this street superintendent pamphlet that has some useful information about what we do for you as your street superintendent.
And also what you're required to do as well. So I'll take that information for you.
Okay.
Take a look at when just a couple extra comments about the 2 blue projects that are the one on Bell Street. Actually, we broke that down into 3 separate ones, and then that's on First Street. In driving through there, though, I think probably First Street might be the priority of all those, of those streets for overlay. That one's starting to, you can see some serious cracking and areas that are probably going to fail. So just a thought, is if that is something that you want to consider, maybe not this year, but in the future. One thing we would recommend that is done, doesn't have to be done right now, would be to get some cores on that existing pavement. So we know how thick it is, what's the condition, and we would work with a geotechnical firm, probably Teal Geotech. And they would make a recommendation as far as like, let's take off, 2 inches or 1 inch, whatever. And also we'd know how thick that stuff is too, because I'm sure you got truck traffic on that roadway, and that's why I'm assuming, just because that's.
Did we already do that on Bell Street?
I don't think we did that on Bell Street too.
We talked about it, but we hadn't done it.
Street, we did this elsewhere.
Right, yep.
Before
So if you want, we can get you a proposal. Doesn't cost anything for you to maybe consider for maybe budgeting, but at least you'd know what the cost would be. We can get you a proposal for First Street, and then also Bell Street, just to get some cores on there.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, the worst thing that can happen is if that surface really starts breaking away, and then it's like, we got a full reconstruction to do, so we want to be careful about.
Maybe that'll help us prioritize one over the other.
Right.
If we need to.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
And then as Eli mentioned, we have been in contact with the county. We'll keep pursuing that as far as giving them some information and see what their feedback will be with regard to participating on Bell Street. So I think our thought would be on the, obviously keep the streets around the school, the orange in the 1-year plan, because that will carry over. Probably everything else, just leave it as is.
Yeah.
We can always revise this, as needed, but I think you're doing you've prioritized the streets that are of most concern right now, and probably the overlay either on First or Bell will be something to consider in the future.
That would probably be the next ones that we could afford, I'm
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
I'd love to keep doing these big paving projects, but I don't know how long we can
Right.
keep getting money for them.
Well, the good thing is you've taken that first step to get one done. And you just kind of keep knocking them off as you can afford to do them, or
Yeah.
you can budget for them.
And we've heard so many great comments about that last project that I think people are willing to pay a little bit if their taxes have to go up, because
Right.
it's been so nice.
You see a good improvement
Yeah.
rather than the patching. And then these other streets, it's gonna happen. You're probably gonna end up having to do some patching from time to time just to kind of complete the date, but
Yeah,
and that's expensive, but I think if we can keep on top of it, that'll keep the public somewhat happy. At least won't be driving too much alcohol, so.
yeah.
So as Eli mentioned, we don't need, I guess at this point, we'll kind of leave it as is, but if you want to make any changes before September is when you'll want to have your public hearing on the 1-6-year plan. Kate will get you that. We can go through that with you a little bit.
Okay.
But you can typically do that at the same meeting when you have your public hearing on your budget.
Yeah,
And so it kind of coincides when you think about it, so. Okay,
yeah, that sounds good. I don't think we should change anything until we get.
and we always can,
samples and-
if the need arises,
Yeah.
and we can always revise this, so you're
Okay.
not committed to doing anything. Just one of the requirements you get for highway allocated. So,
Yeah,
Right.
okay,
all right,
all right, thank you.
thank you. Item D. Discussion and possible approval of updated 2024 Chevy Silverado price of either 51,355 or 45,054 with trade-in. What did we already approve?
We approved the bid of, I do believe it was 46,380 or something like this. But with the bid assistance went down from 3,000 to 1,600, and the price of the vehicle went up by roughly 2,000. So we're at that difference. The truck is in. The guy, he apologized for it. He tried to get with his manager and said, I can't do anything. I can't take that hit. So that's where we are with that. With the trade, wasn't too impressed with the trade. So that's up to you. If you wanted to take the trade or you don't, that's leaving the plow on it and everything. The other option we could do with that trade is we could put it out for bids and put a $5,000 minimum on it.
What's the year and mileage of our trade in roughly?
50,000 miles and it's a 09. So my suggestion would be just hold off on the trade. Just because I think that with the price of vehicles now, I think you could probably.
Would you keep it for spare or would we want to put it up for sale and maybe make more?
I don't think we need to keep it for spare. We don't need another truck right now.
So maybe we put it up for sale.
I think
if we
you
can do better.
put a minimum bid on it and try it.
Yeah,
I mean, for now, in a worst case scenarios, it's $5,000.
Doesn't sell.
We could keep it, but if you could sell it,
yeah.
so I think you're gonna do way better by selling it outright.
That does seem a little low for an 09 with a plow.
With the plow, yeah, I think the plow itself's worth 2,000 probably.
Yeah.
So that's entirely up to you. If you want to start the whole process over, which it's gonna be, them kind of trucks are hard to get now, and it's in, like I said, it's in right now. They just got it in Thursday.
So we're roughly 4,000 some over our.
What was approved, and I think it was still, if I'm not mistaken, under the other two bids or close to it, right at it, so.
Well, I'm okay with keeping our trade and maybe we advertise it later in the summer when snow plows
Or
and water.
wait till winter, right before winter, I mean.
Yeah.
We can hold on to it, and that might be a seller to other communities that are looking for.
I would be a little surprised if we couldn't do better than that trade in price.
I think we can, with 50,000 miles on it.
I'd motion to approve the updated 2024 Chevy Silverado price of $51,355 without trade.
Well, it's gonna be 49,755. Because you got the bid assistance on their trucks.
Bid assistance.
Okay.
Yep. Well, and then he adds the 299, so. I'm gonna talk him out of the 299 doc, is what I'm gonna do. So just to prove the 40, because he said on the phone to me, we're gonna get rid of the doc fee, but he added it back in.
Okay.
I'll just tell him we're not gonna take it if we don't get the doc.
Okay, so with.
So the
with
number
bid
is-
assistance Without.
With the bid assistance is 49,755 without a doc fee, basically.
So just prove it. Not to exceed 49,755.
There you
But
go.
I'll tell him.
Okay,
So I'll motion, yes. So approved.
we have a second.
I'll make that right.
We have a motion and a second to approve the updated 2024 Chevy Silverado price of not to exceed $49,755. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer,
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. And of course, we did 6 months, but they want an immediate pay on this. Is that or
Well,
what
the reason that we put that in the agenda is because. We didn't want to present it on the consent agenda for a payment. We can do it. And then pick the truck up. In other words, it's not on the consent agenda, correct? Is that
Right,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
There's that.
So we just need to approve that, so we can go pick it up before it turns into a 2025 and the
Yeah,
price goes up.
exactly.
Okay,
Yes, because we didn't know which avenue you guys would go.
So a motion to approve the invoice from Sid Dillon for the 2024 Chevy Silverado as an immediate pay.
Second that.
we have a motion and a second for the approval of the Sid Dillon invoice as an immediate pay. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer,
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item F, discussion and possible approval of amendment to owner engineer agreement with JEO. What do you guys have for us?
So the first one is the amendment for bidding services. Our original, I guess, first off, I should start with my name. Andrew Wilson with JEO. I'm the project manager for this Arlington Street Improvement Project. I also brought Maddie. Say your last name.
Red border.
She says she's from Arlington, so I figured we'd bring her along.
She is, we can vouch for her.
She's been helping me with the project and she's been great help with some others, but the first agenda item is for bidding services, our initial contract for design. So this would take us through the bidding process, advertising for bids, opening bids, coming back to a meeting to present the bids and present recommendation. I think we've talked a little bit on schedule and we'll talk more as we look at the plans here on your next item on the agenda. But what we do is advertise the month of September and into October, then open bids probably the week or two before your October meeting. And then come to council in October to present those bids. We've seen just with how the bidding climate is now, fall's the best time to bid projects for next summer's construction. So that's kind of what this is for here. I know initially when we set up the contract, you guys weren't sure kind of how far this was going to go. So that's just the next step. And then.
So basically you're adding 5,500 for the bidding
Yeah,
process.
for the bidding.
Yep.
Yep. So that's us putting it online, helping with all the advertisement, the paper, opening bids. So I'll physically come here, open bids, make sure they have everything. We'll review all the bids and then come back and recommend. And then if you guys, upon construction, depending on what kind of construction services you want, part-time, full-time, not, that would be separate. Which I think is probably typical what you guys have done in the past.
But you guys don't pay for the bidding in the newspaper though, right?
No, we send that the gate,
Okay.
but we'll take care of everything else. And then we'll let, part of that is we reach out to a bunch of contractors, letting them know, hey, this is on the streets. With a project this size, I don't think knock on wood, don't have issues getting bidders, so.
We had great results with the last construction crew. We would love to make sure they get an invite.
Who was that?
Hold on, I can,
They were on,
yeah,
Out of where?
Homer, Nebraska.
hold on.
That was your concrete project, right?
Yes. Same
Okay.
kind of deal where they
Yeah.
tore up the street and
I did a project here years ago. It was an asphalt patching job. It's the last time I was in town.
I'll get it.
We'll make sure they get, so sure, we have it on record.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Definitely make sure they get an invite.
All right, so I guess we would need a motion for the approval of the amendment to the owner engineer agreement.
That's the static with 5,500.
And yeah. The amendment of $5,500 added to the original agreement amount.
I'll make that motion to approve the amendment to the owner engineer agreement with JEO, $5,500.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend the owner engineer agreement with JEO to include the bidding portion of the project. In the amount of $173,220 total. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Item G, discussion and possible approval of street improvement project plans and bidding specs from JEO.
I don't think you guys got anything on this. So Maddie has a handout here. The big one is kind of our full set of plans where we're setting.
The ones with the black are full plans.
Okay.
So feel free to look through those if you really want. Otherwise, we gotta look down summary version.
Okay.
That we'll kind of go through here. Start with the plans. I'll walk through those and then we'll also have a cost estimate we'll look at after we talk through these. So the first page, just really our title page, but it really breaks out project one. Again, we'll get the big groups, but big group A. Excuse me, it's 11th Street, 9th Street, and Todd Street. Project location 2, which is big group B, is 8th Street. So that's kind of where those two are broke out. We still haven't broke out the cost opinion. Then we kind of turn the page. It starts on Dodge Street. What we did here was just the plan and profile, so you'll kind of see on the bottom in that grid pattern. The solid line is where the new road center line is going to be. The dash lines where the existing center line is. So you can see through here, we're cutting the road just a little bit. And then up top is kind of a plan view of what the construction end will look like. The red color is proposed driveways. The greenish color, that is proposed new sidewalks. And then you'll see there's a little bit of storm sewer as we get on further here that you'll see in the purple blue color. So nothing, I mean, geometric wise, look into the road through this first page stays the same for the most part. Taking driveways back far enough to get good grades. We'll go to the next page. That's really where the big change is that we've discussed with you in the past. There at the school. The north side, you know, we're adjusting that driveway, it's getting longer into the school. Then adjusting that sidewalk there on the south side. One thing we do have in here that I kind of wanted to talk through with you guys is the two driveways on the south side there and the left side of the page. The east one is the existing drive off of Dodge Street today. Again, those two.
Nothing's really gonna change for as far as his driveway.
Correct, correct. So those two share. What we are doing is we're proposing another drive for the other property. Is that what we've decided on?
We haven't talked to him, but I would be surprised if they'd have a problem with that. Yeah, it's,
So a question on that is, right now, we're showing that all concrete. That's quite a bit of concrete. Do we want to just show the first 6 feet concrete and then put rock the rest of the way? Our estimate is, I don't have just for that driveway, but for the driveway, we're looking at roughly $70 a square yard. So I
what do
mean,
you think, John?
In order to get him to agree to it, you might have to
Might leave it like it is.
keep it like it is.
that was kind of our
I
thought
mean,
was work, you know, with how that road's changing.
you know, it might help.
Does that get to his existing concrete?
Yes.
Okay. I don't see a problem with that. Then this clears up the problem that we have with that shared road in between.
Yep, we're eliminating that road.
It is, yeah.
Yep, so then they each have their own separate. So we kind of move forward here. Got the two drives into the school on the south side of the parking lot there with new curb ramp coming in if you want. Rock along the south side. Then a concrete just entrance into the football field area. This through here again, you can look at that profile. We're just a hair below what existing was or what existing is today. We go to the next page, finishes out Dodge Street. Looking back to 2 driveways there, the alley return would be concrete. And then replacing that little piece of sidewalk between those 2 properties. And then the end of big group A, so Dodge 9th and 10th or 11th, stops right there at the west side of 8th Street. So if you would, for instance, just award group A, it would not include the intersection of Dodge and 8th, that'd be separate. There's no questions there. We'll move on to the 11th Street. Here, pretty straightforward. The road here, plus or minus, it's kind of lower on the south end, and then we kind of get north a little, it raises just a hair. But pretty close to existing. The driveways fluctuate, that's really just due to grades, you know, making them tolerable, doable to get in and out. One thing I want to point out, I don't know how much we've talked about it, but your right of way is pretty tight on 11th Street. So one thing, I mean, we're going back past the right of way into the private properties to put the driveways in. I don't know how you guys have done that in the past, or if you've dealt with it too much, if it's just a handshake agreement with those homeowners that, hey, we're replacing your driveway, but we have to go on private property. Or if you guys have had to have construction easements at all, or what you guys have done in the past, have you dealt with that too much?
We didn't really have a lot of issues. I don't know that we had to go back that far on Ellsworth.
Most people are, if you're getting partial new driveway at someone else's cost, they're okay with it, but.
I would be surprised if anybody would have a complaint.
It looks like there's only what, 2?
On 11th Street, there's 5.
All of those go past right away. That right away is so thin or so narrow through.
The right of way is the gray line.
Yeah, you kind of see those circles with kind of half, hatched in there. That's the right of way line. It's way in there. So yeah, every driveway's going past villages right away. Just something I kind of want to bring aware. It's something that can be decided, later on too. If there's, if you guys want to talk with them and.
There's 8 total driveways on that street, isn't there?
Yeah. And then the school, I guess. It would be 9 with the school.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's something we have our lawyer draw something up and have it signed.
Do we need to get that? Do you think we need to go that far?
If a lot of communities just do I'm assuming you're the street superintendent, or maybe, a lot of times you'll go out there and just to say, here's the plan. This is kind of what we're doing, and we can get you sheets in there that shows dimensions from back a curb, so you can kind of pull a tape and say, this is how far back they're going to have to go, and that kind of shows. But most of the time, in these smaller communities, they're fine with
Just if somebody has a.
Now, if you have someone that's like, I don't like this, or something happens, then there's some other discussions that can be had.
I think most people would probably be pretty happy to get new concrete if we went and talked to them first, as long as they didn't,
New street.
bust up their concrete before they get their car out of the garage.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting a new street, part of a new driveway. Usually, for the most part, they're okay with it, but you just never know. I guess the second page of 11th Street, the north end. Tying into Bell Street there. And then redoing that handicap ramp that's there at the school on the east side. Moving on.
And that's just because of grade. The handicap ramp has to be.
Yeah, we'll be touching it with that way we can.
All right.
Moving on to 9th Street. Again, we just show the curb ramps at 9th and Dodge. We do show a little piece of sidewalk there on the west side. That's due to some of the phasing that we've talked once before, but we'll talk here in a little bit more on that. As well as that other sidewalk that's up in there, so that's more for phasing purposes. And then the east side, those driveways along there. For the most part, those first 3 were basically right at the right of way line. Then that 4th one on the east side, that one's getting further past the right of way. So that might be one where the conversation needs to be had again. But I would say the first 3 were going to be right away. Then moving on, second page of 9th Street again. 1 driveway, 2 driveways for the school. And then the curb ramps there at 9th and Bell Street will be replacing. One thing I want to point out is both on 9th and 11th, the radiuses at Bell Street are going to be larger than they are today. Definitely help with turning movements, truck deliveries to the school, bus, so forth. That will help a lot with turning movements there, just making that wider.
So there's nothing with storm sewer on that? On 9th Street there, I know.
I can't remember which street it's on, if it was 9th or.
There's 2 on 9th and there's 2 on 8th. On both sides.
Yeah,
One
I
on
know,
each
I know
side.
one of them we were able to leave and the other one we had to,
9th Street, you must be.
eighth is the one we had, okay, eighth is the one we had,
I
yeah.
just didn't know if you were doing anything with them.
No, 11th, or sorry, 9th, we're adjusting them,
Okay,
but they'll stay in place. Eighth is where we were running into the issues.
and then I know there is a storm sewer or a drain in the ditch. On the, would be the. This.
Yeah, on the
Northwest,
west, yep, I see that.
in the ditch there. Is that radius gonna cut into that?
It looks like it's gonna miss it, but let me look at our construction sheets
You're
here.
still talking 9th Street?
Yeah, on
Yeah.
the west side in the ditch there. On that, it just looked really close to where it's, when
Oh, yeah, I see it.
you cut that radius up to Bell Street. And maybe it's farther to the left.
No, we're not getting into that, but I may go look at that after this meeting. That may be something where we need to remove a small piece of pipe and move that inlet further to the west.
Yeah.
Just so you don't have a complete drop off right in the back curve.
Yeah.
Maddie and I will take a look at that after this. Thanks for the catch. Anything else on that one? Otherwise, we can jump the other removal. It's probably nothing too crazy for you guys on that one. There is one thing I want to point out. There's a handful of trees that are going to need removed. I don't know. It's that page here. I believe they're on 9th Street. Yeah, so there's one.
What page are you on?
Sorry,
Seven.
C 1.6. It's the first one.
Okay,
So you'll see it kind of straight across from the school entrance. Kind of that star.
yeah,
And if you turn the page. Like 6 more.
And
They're all
everyone-
within your right of way. So you guys, I mean, you have rights to take them out. I just know how some homeowners are with trees.
but you're proposing that all 6 of those guard trees come out.
Yes,
6 or 7.
6 on page 1.7 and 1 on 1.6. That is mainly to the fact of one, their roads and constructability, you got a paver, so. They have to grade 4 foot outside of the back of curb. And then with the roots in that, when they're trying to do dirt work, it's just gonna be a nightmare. And then just in the future. Your pavement's gonna be better off without those trees there. Again, I know that's sometimes a tough subject, with construction is tree removals.
Mhm.
But
Well, let's hope we can explain this to people beforehand. I've been in the meeting where we've had the arborist come and. You know, the homeowners hired an arborist to say that it'll be fine if you leave it, but. I would say let's go ahead with removing them and hopefully we can talk to the homeowners beforehand and make that work.
yeah. Yeah, it's always good to talk to them too first before we start painting pink X's on them and.
Mhm.
They come unglued there, but, we can jump to C 4.1, so we're still in that bigger debate, 9th, 11th and Dodge. This hasn't changed too much from last time I talked with you guys. We're still proposing the 6 phases. Phase 1, again, contractor can change this, you know, submit a different schedule to us and we'll work with you guys, but we're proposing 11th Street to be phase 1. Dodge Street between 11th and 9th to be phase 2. Phase 3 to be 9th Street. Phase 4 to be Dodge west of 11th. Phase 5 to be Dodge east of 9th, between 9th and 8th. And then phase 6 to be 8th Street. And those kind of were based off of some communication with the school.
And you have the dates that they asked for?
Yes.
To start?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we have all that in our specs.
Perfect.
And
That's
that's
gonna be
where
the
a lot
biggest
of,
thing is just working with them on start.
and that's where this phasing
Yeah.
came, this phasing came.
Yep.
Then we kind of, the next page, C 4.3, it really breaks down each phase into more detail. Showing the contractor with traffic control or requirements. For those phases. So. I,
Goes 4-3-4-2-4-4.
uh-oh. Printer got messed up.
That's rocks. Is that what you said?
No,
On Dodge Street,
okay,
in
The
between,
football field,
yep,
we have the one.
you have a driveway to the east, and then it looks like you have rocks drawn.
yeah.
Is that right? So that's in and out right there, or is that?
Is that a high curb or a drive over curb?
Let me-
Yeah.
109, so I brought this close to the plans.
You're looking on BP 1-2.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the cross sections. 109, ready? We are showing a. Yes, a drive over curve there, if you want a full curve. Okay. Is there a preference? We can switch.
Well, we end up eliminating because there's two right now, correct? Like on it, there's the one on the east by 9th Street, and then there's one on the far west side of it. So it's kind of like a pull through,
Oh, yep.
and so we won't have a pull through, right? And I only,
Definitely. So right across the drive, the West School Drive,
yeah,
you could put another concrete entrance there if you want. A full curve in between.
What's wrong with having the drive over all the way? You're talking, this plan includes a drive over curb.
Yep.
Right.
the only thing that I'm thinking is the way that it's currently set up from a perspective from emergency response. That's the only thing that I'm thinking. Is the fire truck coming in and out.
So
Or
they're
an
gonna come.
ambulance.
So we could add a driveway and leave it drop still. We could do that option too. Does that make sense? Here, I might. Bring this up here.
Put another driveway in over here.
Yeah, so I
Like there's one there now.
Oh,
yeah, we could put another concrete drive in, just like we have here, put one here. And then in between, we could either leave it as full curb or we could drop it. As a drive over.
And I don't care if it's a drive over curb either, or as.
I think if we've got
it's
drive
space
over
where
in the
it's-
plans, leave it drive over.
Yeah,
curb. But if you
but
want to
add
add
the
another driveway,
Yeah.
that's.
We can do that. That's no problem. And we'll just go the 6 foot back like we did here. With concrete.
Because there is a gate that you guys can get in and out of the field over here.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I,
Which would make
I'm just
sense.
saying coming in
Yeah.
and backing up, I mean,
Yeah.
there's just.
I don't want to
I'm
have
just
to worry
thinking
about
about-
making a curb cut after it's there.
Right.
Because we went through that.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the sidewalk on.
I'm just trying to run through the.
Yep.
Yeah, we can
And
add
then
it.
this is kind of putting that concrete there instead. Okay, this is no parking.
No parking.
The rest of it,
Right,
you can
like-
park. Yeah, we can do that. That's no problem. All right.
Nope, that's much better than having to do it the day before the football game.
Yep.
Right.
All right, so we'll go to C 4.2. I apologize. So go C 4.3, then C 4.2. Jump back to these. We'll make sure Maddie gets that changed.
Yeah.
So C 4.2 is 11th Street. As we discussed, we were gonna put gravel surfacing along the east side there by the school between the street and the sidewalk to allow people in those homes to park there during construction, and then it would just be a one-way. And then once they got the west side and the driveways done, then those homeowners could access on the west side of that street and still be a one-way until construction was completed.
And the rocks go over the existing sidewalk or?
No, between the sidewalks.
Okay.
So the sidewalk's gonna stay there, we have to protect the existing sidewalk.
there.
Okay.
Go back a page, 4.3. This really just shows Dodge, what these do from 11th to 9th. Just shows the barricades, so you'll have hard closures. At the 3 school driveways as well as at 9th Street and 11th Street. And then what we are proposing, you'll see on the right hand side there, that parking lot. That 24 by 35. That's where that sidewalk was gonna be removed on that previous page. That is a temporary, so rock drive.
Yeah.
During construction of Dodge, that would still enter and exit that parking lot. Going to sheet 4.4. This is 9th Street. So what we're showing here is a full closure. One thing I wanted to discuss with you guys is right now we're showing, Dodge Street would be completed when this phase is going on. So we do have, you can see that 24 by 58 is rock as well. So you could go between that parking lot and that kind of circle drive. Is that we can?
That's fine.
And we talked about.
I thought we talked about the 2 sidewalks on the right. Those are new sidewalks, and I thought we were gonna try and find a way
On the road.
on the north end of 9th Street.
Yeah,
All that sidewalk is new. And I don't know if we had talked about doing something different than tearing those out. Do you remember anything about that, John?
the furthest right one, we're gonna have to do because we're making that radius bigger.
Okay,
That other one, let me look, I think we might be able to save that.
because I just,
And we were saving it because we weren't opening that up.
We weren't going across that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're no longer going across it, so we
Yeah.
saved the whole other section.
Yep, I think,
so
I remember that
maybe,
conversation now,
maybe that, the one on the,
left of the two.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, we'll look at that one.
okay. Because I would just. That's one thing I hate hearing about is tearing up.
Fair enough, brand new stuff, yeah. The right one, we may not have to take it that far
But if
back.
there's a reason, I understand
We may not
it.
have to take it that far back, but we at least have to do.
Yeah. Okay,
And then here we talked to, I think last time we talked about homeowners being able to go in the alley. And or park at the school. Was another topic of discussion for them. Moving to the next page. C 4.6. Well, 4.6, 4.5 got. Mixed matched again, I apologize. Let's go to C 4. We'll get that cleaned up. That is Dodge west of 11th. Again, there's barricades there, and then our plan was, homeowners would just park along 11th or 12th. To access their homes during that portion of construction. Going back to 4.6, one page. Again, it's kind of the same thing between 9th and 8th on Dodge. Park closure, and those residents would park on 9th or 8th to access those homes. Any questions? That's big.
or if school's out, that might be easier for them to park in the football field parking, but.
Yeah. Yeah, they're off.
Yep,
Anything else on group A, or when you get to group B?
seems like.
So we'll go to C 4.1, that gets us into 8th Street, again, it's the plan and profile sheets. It should be past those aerials if you keep going the other way. Oh,
C 4.1,
yeah, or sorry, PP.
oh, okay,
Give me a letters and numbers.
yep. I thought it was odd we were going back, but I was listening.
So we have.
I was actually listening to it.
So we kind of have it separate. The first 3/4 of the plans is group A and then the back is group B.
Okay.
So again, we have 8th Street. You can see. Our profile south of Dodge is pretty much right on existing. Through the Dodge Street intersection and east, we lower that profile a little bit through there. Here on the south side. We have a couple driveways and then tying in those existing sidewalks that go out to the street. Nothing's going past your right of way, so there won't be any concerns of easements there. Going north, we have a couple driveways as well, still within your guys' right of way. Going to the next sheet, you can see we're lower through here. This is that section where we talked about. Instead of the high point being in the middle of the road, it's just gonna be it's just gonna slope to one side. I did after our meeting last time, went and looked back. So before, I think the 5 feet on the west side was 5 foot from the west side was your high point. So really, we're not adding that much more water. I know drainage was a concern. So really, there's not a huge difference. It's just 5 extra feet of roadway now is going to be included.
More water is going to drain to the
east.
Yeah.
But that is, you can see those driveways on the west had to go back further than the ones on the east, and that's just due to those grades on that street there. So again, here, we're gonna have all those driveways, however, we're going back, we're still not going past your guys' right of way, so much larger right of way through 8th Street than you do. Then you can kind of see there on the very right-hand side of this page, 2 new inlets going in. This is where that new storm sewer is we're talking about. It's actually, you can see it better on the next page. But we're gonna have a total of 4 inlets going in there. The reason they're back further than where they were previously was because before there's a decent drop off there on Bell. Now that low point's gonna get pushed back to the south further, and that'll be the low point right there where those inlets are. So you'll have 4 inlets there and then new pipe that will run to that. We'll put a new manhole in there and tie into your existing storm sewer. And then new curb ramps again at Bell Street due to those radiuses getting larger. Questions there?
What is the sidewalk 153 between the two?
The green,
Yeah, between the two.
There was sidewalk there before.
There's a sidewalk going to the street right there.
It was before.
from somebody's front door or something there.
Go to the mailboxes or something.
Yeah, there's sidewalk there today. Okay, we should remove it. So we're just putting it back.
It just goes to the back of the curb, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Again.
And you'll see on PP 4.1, there was 3 of those as well. So we'll still have a full curve, full 6-inch curve. Our sidewalk will just go straight to it. We're not putting a ramp or anything in. It's just straight to that top of the curve.
That would be Van Pola's sidewalk to the street from the front of his house.
Oh, okay.
So those drains are on both sides of his.
So the drain currently is way to the north.
So now the drains are gonna be on either side of that sidewalk.
Well, that'll help drainage because they always complain about stuff at the end of their driveway. The next resident to the south does.
Okay, yeah, so this should help drastically there. We'll kind of skip these removals. And kind of go to the phasing. So what we show here is the contractor shutting down this whole stretch. The car closures at Dodge, sorry.
Quick question.
8.1.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
On this, the sewer there on those 2 close together. Is that unusual to have them that close together on one spot in the street like that?
Yes, and usually we're able to just get away with 1.
Yeah.
But due to the fact of that street being sloped all to the east, we're needed to for drainage calcs.
Okay.
And actually the low point is actually at the east inlets.
Okay,
So you have those two sets, the one on the right,
yeah,
that's the low point in the street. So everything from Bell is coming that way, and everything from the south is coming that way. We have those other two that catch, it's not gonna catch everything, but we have it where it's catching more.
mhm.
So we'll catch there, we'll overpass that, we'll get caught in that second one. Good question. So phasing, again, we talked about, closing this whole stretch. And utilizing the alley for residents. One thing we talked about was that alley didn't go all the way up. So one thing we did, and I want to discuss with you, is you can see on Bell Street. We show some surfacing, some aggregate surfacing there on the south side. That's mainly for those residents on that northern side that can't get through in the alley, to be able to work just along there during construction. Just gets them off the street a little safer.
Still saves the sidewalk and
Yep, keeps the sidewalk, we have protect existing sidewalk again. So.
sounds good.
One question I have, generic question is. Grass that's disturbed, we want to go back with seed, sod. Or sod's way more expensive, but.
I don't think we have too many yard farmers on that. We had, on our last project, we had one in particular that wanted sod, and I think we just kind of dealt with those as case by case, but plan on seed is the cheapest.
Okay,
Yeah,
yep, that's definitely.
most people are happy with that, but if we have to sod some,
Okay, we could always.
we'll
figure
work with that
out.
when we get there.
So one other thing we have here is another cost opinion. Of course, this is unfortunately just a hair with some of those minor opinions.
Do I need to hold my breath?
This is why I had Maddie wait for this part. It's an easy click. I don't remember what the number was when we
Hey, Maddie.
started.
Probably set for Jason Weezy.
So you've got group A and group B. Total opinion is 2.5.
Yeah, so group A total with a 15% contingency. Is 1.56. That is construction costs only, so whatever, the cost. Group B is 725,000, again, construction cost only. What I did put at the very bottom. Again, I don't have a construction agreement put in, I just. They're 10% out there just to have it on
But
here
that bottom number should get us done from
from that.
we're out with the bidding. Once we're done with the bidding,
That includes
that'll include everything.
construction paying the contractor, that includes paying JEO for construction services. And then I did have 5% for any overhead, legal, fiscal stuff that you guys may encounter as part of the project. So we'll say 2.6, I guess, for good rounding. I would say 2.6 by the time we add a couple of that stuff
I
in.
think that's about right in the middle of where we were kind of expecting, so.
And I definitely think with the fall bid, you guys will be setting the best you can for construction next year.
Yeah.
So.
And by the time this rolls around next year, and we may have more sales tax in there, we finance less, hopefully, and. so-
Yep. So that's what we're proposing. Again, you're probably just for round numbers, 2.6, I would say. But we'll definitely make the changes we talked about. Be in contact with Kate. If this gets approved, I guess tonight to move forward. Advertise in September, open bids. I guess I should look, maybe we can nail that by date.
John, you have his number, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, Harris is the name I was trying to come up with, but I can't remember the rest of it. Harris?
Yeah, here, construction, Harris.
Yeah, we'd like to make sure they get an invite to bid.
Yep. So your October meeting is the third Monday, correct? So the 16th. So I would say, what's the newspaper here?
So they publish every Friday, but you have to have it in like Tuesday at 10 AM or something.
Okay, so
It's
every-
by Monday.
Friday. So I would say if you guys are good, we could open bids October 10th.
Yeah.
And then we would have, they would advertise in the paper September 22nd, 29th, and October 6th. So it has to advertise for 3 weeks. So you're saying, hey, probably the week of the 11th, we need to get it to the paper.
If you open them on the 10th, you gotta have them to the paper that day.
Well, no. So we have to have it to the paper for the advertisement. So September 22nd would be the first day.
So yeah, if you wanted it in the paper on the 22nd, I would just need to send it by the 18th on that Monday. before.
Okay. And then it'd be in the paper the 22nd, 29th, 6th.
Yep, and I can just tell them to leave it in for.
Yep, and then we'd
Whatever.
open bids October 10th here. And then the 16th, I would come back to the council meeting. Present all the bids, make sure all of our calculations checked on their end, and then recommend or not recommend the.
Is that soon enough for budget?
What?
Is that soon enough for your budget? Or you just overdo your budget?
So October is still in this fiscal year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or do you want to?
well, October 23.
Not your budget though.
No, we won't pay until the next budget year.
Okay, you won't pay.
So for budget, you would probably budget
It'd be the
a few
Because
points.
the project's gonna start in May,
Yeah, so,
start incurring costs. and
yeah,
all.
but as you guys are talking your budget, you would just maybe budget 2.7.
Yeah,
But if the project started in May, people would want to be paid as they go.
but it's still in our next budget year.
Correct, but I mean, you're setting your next budget year.
Right,
this
because the fiscal
October already.
ends.
Right,
The fiscal.
Well,
So you'll
that amount in
put
there.
it in.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what this estimate,
Yep.
will help you guys be able to budget that.
Yeah.
And that's why I put our construction, our cost in just as an estimate, so you have it. For budget purposes.
Appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? I know that was a lot.
Yeah,
As far as
This
the,
is why Steve didn't stay.
as far as the, you said you have some drafted, you can give me like prints of just the property owners that we're gonna.
Yeah, we'll get
is
you.
that in those big, is that in the big?
I mean, sometimes it's just easier if they just have their house instead of the whole scenario
Yeah.
for the properties on 9th Street and.
We'll get you some exhibit.
Is that something we should wait until the bid process is over and we've actually got something, because we're gonna bid in September, but construction won't start till May, so.
I mean, the
Yeah, we have
plans,
time.
the plans won't change much, so you can do.
But I mean, there's no point in going and contacting people until,
Wait, till you had bids.
Yeah.
At least for some ungodly reason. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but bids come in at 3.5 or something, it's, something dumb like that.
yeah,
Where then you guys have to kind of reconsider, okay, maybe we're only gonna do group A or something.
maybe we don't do so much concrete on this, so yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we can work up exhibits now, so you guys have those.
That sounds good.
Okay.
So we need to vote to go ahead with the bidding process.
You approve plans and specs to go out for bid in September.
Did anybody have any other questions before we do that? It's a big project. I know it seemed like a lot more than last time, but I think you guys did a better job
As far as that,
explaining things on the
Well,
way
thank
through,
you.
so.
Thank you, and we had an expert with us, Patty, so.
as far as the Dodge Street where we were doing the radius is a little different. Did we get into anybody's property on that? That we have?
Are we still in the right of way?
Are we still in our right of way? I know we own some of that property.
I know we talked quite a bit on.
But I can't remember if we did get into anybody else, if that's something that we have to check out before we start
But
putting bids out.
I think, yeah, we were cutting into that property where we were adding his driveway. I think there was discussion that
On the east side of 9th?
on here, I'll come up there.
And all.
Oh,
That guy we're adding his driveway.
Yeah.
We are a little piece there.
Hmm.
I know there was a discussion early on there. Well, if we give him this brand new driveway, maybe he'll be willing. So that's something, we need to talk about.
We should probably talk to him at least.
And possibly, we can mark
Before the
the
bid process.
Tell you what, we'll mark up, make an exhibit just for that property with similar to this where we had the color hatches. Identifying what's what, just kind of helps explain it to people that don't look at plans every day.
Yeah.
So we can do that as well with those driveways.
And if you can tell them that this matches your existing driveway then, and
And show how they're getting a brand new driveway. Of that nature.
sounds good.
Good questions though.
Any other questions?
No.
If not, I would say that we would accept a motion in a second for approval of the street and project plans and bidding spec.
I'll motion to approve the JEO project plans and what else?
Bidding specs.
Bidding specs. For all phases to go out for bid.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Jeremy Hansen,
Aye.
Travis Kramer,
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Paul Brown.
Aye. Thanks for coming.
And once we get final signed plans and specs, we'll send you guys a copy, hard copy, so you guys have that as well.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Thanks for your time. All right, water sewer. James messaged me. I can't remember what it was. James said that the SCADA estimated time of arrival is October. It's probably gonna make it tight for our budget year, but I guess we can amend the budget if we have to, whatever we have to do there if it doesn't make it in this budget, so. Travis and I have met, got some things we want to talk with. Really nothing's changed since last week. We went over all this at the last meeting. We need to set up a quarterly. And we've got questions on that 6th Street line improvement, so we'll continue working on that. I don't have anything else. Anybody else have anything on water sewer questions? If not, let's move on to item C, Washington County Sheriff's Report. Mike, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, I don't. You guys got anything for me?
Oh, boy, I don't think so, really.
We probably should set up a meeting with the committee.
Yeah, we're probably due for that. You have any days that work best for you?
About any day but Friday. And I guess it all depends on how soon you want to meet.
Yeah, I guess I'll get with Jason, and seems like his schedule's a little more hectic to schedule around, so I'll get with him and we can get in touch with you.
And maybe try to do it before the fair. If that sounds all right.
Yep, definitely.
Otherwise, I don't have anything else.
Anything new or different in the fair as far as traffic or anything, any concerns you guys have?
No concerns. That's one thing I want to discuss with you guys. If you guys had any concerns.
No, it seems like it's been working good. The shuttling people across the highway seem to have been going well. It's nice not having people parked along the highway for sure.
Yes, it is.
So that's been great, I think. I hope it keeps working for them.
Absolutely.
Well, if
Yeah.
if nobody has anything else for Sheriff Robinson, thanks for sitting through all that interesting street talk.
No problem. It is. I mean, it was nice to hear some of the streets and I know some of the issues and didn't bother me.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Item D, parks, Travis and Jeremy, do you guys have anything, obviously with the pool, things have been a little rough, but it seems like things are going well considering.
Yeah, committee report wise, Jeremy and I met before this meeting tonight. Drove around town, looked at some of the projects we've discussed in the past, maybe got some different ideas. I think we're gonna firm up our budget numbers. We'll have to make some decisions on a project we're recommending for this year. But probably need a few more days so we can get that turned in. Sorry, Paul, but back to the pool. Guess I can jump to yeah, after we lost Merritt last week, it's been difficult for everybody, but the two assistant managers, Barrett and Melina, have been just rock stars. I mean, they've stepped up and they've run with it, and they've done a fantastic job. And sure makes you happy to see folks like that step up and do this kind of stuff. So great work, both of them. I won't jump ahead because the library reports before that.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That was my fault.
No, it's all good. I just wanted to mention on the library report before we got to the Barrett thing, that Aaron Enslone spoke to me asking about getting an outlet or something. So in the library to the north side, there's that green room area. And they have a couple of computers donated to them from the North Bend Library, but there's no power drops there. And they just didn't know how to approach maybe getting a conduit lead down to an outlet or something. I don't know. Any thoughts or?
I'll continue to look at it.
Okay.
See.
You walk in the door and just hurl back this
Maybe I
way.
can grab Jeremy and we can come in there and look at it someday and see what he had any ideas on.
They'd sure be tickled to get an outlet there because they got this computer donated. It's just sitting there, says not turned on. So that was the one thing they thought they'd be really excited about getting done. And then item C, if that's okay.
Yep.
So with Barrett and Melina acting as interim pool manager, we recommended that we give them the interim title and compensate them accordingly for all the extra work they're taking on to handle in Merritt's absence. So I think it's the right thing to do.
It's only fair. Yeah.
Did they get any news on another assistant helping?
There were a couple girls interested, but nobody really seemed to maybe want to. I mean,
Okay.
one of them, I guess, lives kind of far away now, college. I don't know. They seem busy. But I was like, okay, if you think of anybody or you want me to reach out to anybody, that's whatever. But so far so good that, open Saturday and Sunday and just helping them along. So
I know Emma's volunteered on a part-time basis. I don't know if you've talked to her. Or
I haven't yet. Well, so they had a couple girls out there to help get the swim lessons organized. And I think that's like good to go now. They figured out how to schedule and I think that starts the 26th, they said. And otherwise, I mean, just been helping them with money things and paperwork and just keeping it going. So.
Okay, we made a lot of pay changes for the lifeguards last year. Do they even know what the new pay system was?
I guess I'm not for sure. I don't know if Barrett shared that. I haven't.
Last year, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess I mean, I didn't share that with them. I guess I kind of thought Barrett might have or Laney, but I don't know.
Okay.
I guess make sure they understand everything has changed. Yeah.
Okay. I've been meaning to run down and see them just to thank them again.
Yeah.
I can get a copy of the ordinance and just talk through at least with those two, making sure everybody understands.
If you leave a copy there, then
Yeah.
maybe.
Just talk through what the changes were and maybe Merritt had a chance to visit with them after that, but I don't know. It just, things happen awful quick there, so.
Yeah. All right. Item E, cemetery.
Also,
I'm sorry.
Any make a motion?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve Barrett, Nielsen and Melina,
Yeah, she was by Laney too.
Melina and Lozo as interim pool managers for the Arlington swimming pool.
You want to do interim or you want to remove the interim title?
No, we're going to give them interim. That gives them, makes them eligible for interim pool manager pay.
Okay. We have a second.
I will say that.
We have a motion and a second to approve Barrett Nielsen and Melena Lozo, interim managers of the swimming pool. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Now we can move on to item E, cemetery committee report. You guys have anything new?
Oh, see, the big pine tree got removed, huh, John?
Good, yes,
$500.
Jake Lang, his, they have several plots, right? His family does, and he had mentioned that it's kind of an eyesore and he wanted to, so he volunteered to do it for that amount of money, and that's usually what war charges, but
Yeah,
we have to cut it all up and,
right.
and him and a guy that he works with did it. for us. So, yep, it worked out well. So he's gonna try and get somebody to come grind the stump off so we can use that plot. That's up to him.
Sod's been
The
taken.
spot has been laid, it's living, so.
Yeah, that's good.
That was a chore trying to keep that alive in these hot days. It looks really nice, I think.
Yeah, I guess good.
All right. Item B, or did you guys have anything else? No, I'm sorry. Discussion and possible approval for a small concrete memorial bench to be placed at Jan Ryder's cemetery plots. We were looking through the rules. I don't know that it specifically states you can't have a small bench. I know there was another one placed out there and we don't think that anybody asked for approval on
They
that one.
contacted us about it.
Okay.
Trevor about it, and we kind of went over it, so.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're okay with another one?
As long as it's on their plot, I mean.
Yeah, okay. Do you suppose we need a motion for that or we just tell them, go ahead? Okay,
We didn't get a motion for the other three that are out there. We just kind of went over it with them and said, don't intrude on anybody else's plots.
So then going forward, if someone were to come to me, is that just like something I need to tell them, like just keep it on?
Well, yeah, they have
area,
to contact
or-
either Trevor mainly, and can kind of go through it and mark.
Make sure that they're-
in there,
yeah,
Okay,
in their. Operating.
okay.
anything else as far as cemetery? Item F. Administrative, anybody see anything on the building permit report of concern? Did we get one? There it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday looked all right.
Nothing new and big. Kate, do you have anything for us on the clerk report?
Super interesting. Swimming pool stuff is taking up a lot of our time. Jake updated and like kind of redid the whole cemetery directory, which was a huge project, but he did it. And we've got 7 veteran banners left to fill. I think we have 6 of them purchased, so we're just waiting on another one. So we can get all new ones up there, people are picking them up. And Jake has been working on the comprehensive plan a lot. Also updated the website a lot. So, yeah, always as usual.
And thank you for your extra time with the swimming pool. It took a lot of time, I know.
And thanks again for going over this historical stuff that we've been dragging our feet on that, and I appreciate you getting that finished for us, getting us to the finish line. So. Discussion and possible approval of lien on property for non-payment of water sewer. Now, is this a renter or a landlord situation?
Nope, he,
It's the owner.
the owner.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. This is the one here on Second Street, yeah. And you haven't heard anything from the family as of today, so. This is a property of someone who is deceased and was behind by that amount. After talking to our lawyer, I think that this is the way to go. if the house is to sell before we do this, then I don't think we have a leg to stand on, so.
A motion to approve a lien on the property for non-payment of water, sewer, utilities. Do we need specifics on locations?
So at least the last one that was put on last summer, that's all it said on the agenda, so I don't know if there were specifics given,
Just
but
as presented in the,
I just copied what Nick
Yep.
did, so.
all right, we have a motion and a second. For approval of lien on the property as presented in the agenda. If there's no further discussion, let's vote on that motion.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Well, item 8.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. We have a motion second for adjournment. There's no further discussion. Let's vote on that motion.
Travis Kramer.
Aye.
Scott McCorney.
Aye.
Jeremy Hansen.
Aye.
Paul Kraus.
Aye. Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Thank you.